Hey YouTube, Leo here with another video, and today I'm going to be trying something a little different here. I really want to talk about a new anime that's come out recently that I personally have been enjoying a ton. As a matter of fact, I managed to binge watch the entire series in a day and a half, and I'm talking about You and I Are Polar Opposites. Yes, it is a bit of a love story. It is a romance anime, so for those of you who only watch shonen, feel free to leave the door now. But I don't feel like enough people are talking about this anime. I originally saw the first thing about it during Giguk's essentially wrap up of the upcoming anime, and I remember thinking that the premise seemed funny enough for me to want to go ahead and check out. So I did, and let me just tell you, I genuinely feel like this is one of the best love representations in anime that I have seen in a very, very long time. And what I mean by that is that the story does a great job of not falling into a lot of the will they, won't they kind of tropes that we see in a lot of other types of anime. I'm looking at you, Kaguya-sama Love is War. All right, just you already knew you liked each other. Just get to it. And yes, I haven't watched the last season of it. I do think they finally end up together. I don't know. Don't spoil it for me. But yeah, no, like, starting off right from the gate in episode 1, our main love group here, Miyu Suzuki and Yusuke Tani. So I guess let's reverse back here a little bit, right? Let's talk about our two main characters here. So Yusuke is the reserved guy. He sits in the corner next to the main love interest, Miyu Suzuki, and he's doesn't ever say a lot. Whatever he does say, he's just pretty blunt about it. He's just like, "Yep, no, this is what it is. This is what I'm thinking." Boom, done. Right. Where on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we have Miyu Suzuki, and she is just the extrovert of extroverts. Right. She is loud. She's energetic. She makes friends with everybody. So kind of to the name of the anime itself, very, very opposite in terms of who they are and how they interact with everyone around them, right? But of course, they both kind of have feelings for each other, right? And in the very first episode, 12 minutes and 7 seconds into the episode, our guy Tani over here goes and holds Suzuki's hand. Absolute wild move. This is unheard of in anime. This is, a Code 3, Deathcom 5 style move from this man, and is an absolute crazy thing to see. And you know what? She's cool with it. She's absolutely cool with it. They are both holding hands. They are walking down the street, and they do so up until they see, some other classmates off in the distance, and he, lets go of her hand, kind of chill with it. But talk about an absolute just crazy move from this guy, especially for what we see in anime, right? We've all seen the memes, like, oh no, they're holding hands, boom, pregnant, right? Uh, but it's such a breath of fresh air to see the silent, quiet character just make that move right from the get go and just be like, "Yep, nope." And then obviously the next day, Suzuki ends up being late for school because she slept in because she was up all night just thinking about the fact that they were holding hands, right? And we get to the first of what I'm gonna go ahead and call the subversion of the classic anime tropes, right? Her friends are kind of teasing her about this. One of them saw that they were holding hands, and she does the initial mistake that all anime protagonists do, and she initially denies the fact that they were holding hands, right? She's like, "Oh no, like you're crazy. Like, why would I ever do so and so do that?" And right away, obviously Tani hears this, right? He hears her deny the fact that they were holding hands, and it does affect him. It affects both of them, right? The whole rest of the day, she's stressing about the fact that she's just kind of embarrassed him, right? Like, she's embarrassed, he's embarrassed. She's like, oh no, I need to clear up this misunderstanding, which obviously, right from the get go, I'm proud that she acknowledges that she needs to fix her mistake, right? End of the first day comes, he leaves, and he's just like, yep, I have to head home, deuces. And she is sitting there absolutely panicked because she knows she hasn't cleared up the mistake. her friends are trying to invite her to go do whatever random thing that her friends want to go take her to go do. And she immediately blurts out, "Hey, I think I love this guy." Absolute wild move on episode 1 of a romance anime for the main heroine to be like, "Hey, I think I love this guy." And all her friends, instead of, being some, I don't know, and instead of, making fun of her or anything of that nature, they're like, "Go to him, go to this man now." And she takes off running, which absolute hilarious moment. It turns out she is not athletic at all. Her run is a medium sprint, if we could even call it that, right? She runs out to this guy and she confesses her love to him. She yells out to him, "Hey, I love you." She runs down there. She apologizes for the confusion. She's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I was nervous. I didn't know what to do when they were questioning me. I really like you." He comes back and he's like, "I like you too." And they start dating right from episode 1. Absolutely incredible. Just right from the get-go. It's you don't really see that a lot in anime, right? Once again, like we were talking about, we get episodes of will they, won't they, this or that. And this show consistently takes these tropes and just does not even play around with them, right? The next trope I want to talk about is he ends up seeing Suzuki riding around on a motorcycle. Now, we as the audience know who this character is because we were introduced to Suzuki's, I believe it's her older brother earlier on in the episode, and he's the one driving her around on a motorcycle. She spots Tani and one of her friends walking down the street, and so she has her brother pull over. She hops off the motorcycle, and already Tani's kind of like, "Yo, what's who's that guy?" Right? And he's too nervous to say anything about that, right? That's always a typical trope. He's like, he doesn't know who this other male figure is. He doesn't know the relationship. And Suzuki's friend sees this and instantly clocks the confusion. And instead of letting this go on or allowing, Tani to kind of freak out or misconstrue the situation, the friend instantly just goes up to Suzuki and is like, "Oh, hey, isn't that your brother? Oh, that's so cool that he gets to, take you around on a motorcycle," instantly clearing up the situation. We don't even go into it. Like, this whole exchange happens within minutes. And it's one of those where, like, I'm glad that this anime doesn't see the need to play around with these unnecessary tropes, these unnecessary misunderstandings, and that they're just so unapologetic about just the love between the two main characters and the fact that they are consistently communicating to each other. That's the other thing too. There's a couple of small moments, and I don't want to spoil too much about the anime. I really would prefer everyone go and check out this anime and watch it on their own and get a feel for it yourselves, because I definitely think it's being, at least in my opinion, it's being a little slept on. I know that it does actually have a pretty good rating right now. On my anime list, it's sitting about an 8.33, and on IMDb currently it's sitting at an 8.2. So it does have some pretty good ratings. I just don't see anybody talking about it. And you know what? I figure, hey, I've been kind of slacking on the channel in terms of original content. Let me try and put this together. So that's what I'm doing here. All right. But the show itself is doing such a good job of having the two characters just talk to each other whenever there's a misunderstanding, whenever there's some miscommunication, or even just being unapologetic about the fact that these two are dating, right? Fast forward a couple episodes, and this absolutely took me aback. The main characters try to go to a study session, and essentially the library is packed, right? Which I've never seen that, but okay. The library is just absolutely booked. They can't find seating anywhere. So Tani being the guy he is like, "Hey, you know what? My place ain't too far from here. Let's go study at my house," right? And to their credit, they show up and they just study. They are just hanging out. They're just studying. They're reading through their books. And I don't fully remember how they end up outside, but they end up outside and they're just kind of playing around. Suzuki's just kind of what's it doing? She's skipping across like the stone pathway that they have. and she trips up and Tani catches her. And who happens to see this? They turn the corner and all they see is Tani and Suzuki holding each other. And it is Tani's grandma. His grandma clocks them, and she's already kind of got that mischievous look, like, what have I just caught here? What shenanigans have I just walked into? And my guy, well, no, okay, let me roll that back. Suzuki instantly is just like, hi, I am Tani's classmate, and she freezes, right? She freezes because they'd already kind of been talking about, how to let, everyone kind of know. I mean, at this point, most everyone in school knows that they're dating, but this is their families, right? So it's a little different. Suzuki freezes and she doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know where to say friend, girlfriend. It's kind of up in the air. And Tani just looks his grandma dead in the eyes and is just like, yep, this is my girlfriend. Absolute stuns everybody. Everyone's jaws drop on the floor. Suzuki, the grandma, both of them are just like, oh, okay. And the grandma 100% approves. She gets the grandma stamp of approval right from the get-go. She goes to the garden, grabs up a few vegetables and stuff like that. It's like, here you go, take this home, instantly welcomed right in. And it is just, again, absolute breath of fresh air to see a lot of these kinds of tropes, where they're embarrassed to talk about it to the families, where they're not sure about whether to introduce anybody. And to see a character just man up right from the get-go and just be like, yep, I'm dating, this is my girlfriend, boom, that is what it is, right? And it's just, I don't know why other anime, I guess it's just part of the story, right? Like there has to be a conflict. There has to be this will they, won't they, to kind of keep people engaged. But to see a romance anime where everything is just so upfront and so transparent with how the characters are feeling and how they're portraying that relationship to the rest of the cast is absolutely just a joy to watch. Now, having said that, they do seem to be reserving a lot of the will they, won't they, or like the more typical anime tropes for some of the relationships happening with some of the side cast, which I don't want to get into, because if that's more your cup of tea and you want to kind of see those things happen, again, just check out the anime, give it a watch. And I guess if you do, let me know what you think of down in the comments. Is this an anime that you guys have been checking out? Has it been on your radar? Has it not been? I'm just gonna kind of keep it at that. I definitely think this anime, especially for this first half of the season, has been the one that I have kind of enjoyed the most. And that's kind of crazy to say, because there's been a lot of big hitting anime this season. We've had Frieren, we've had I'm drawing an absolute blank right now. I'm having to actually open up my my account and let me check out my watch list here. Jujutsu Kaisen, Hell's Paradise, Oshinoko. I might make an episode about Oshinoko here. Fate Strange Fake. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely enjoyed all those other anime. I've watched them, but the You and I Are Polar Opposites is the only one that I just sat down and just binged all the way through. I didn't keep up with it when it first dropped. I had written it down as I'd added it to my watch list and just never really sat down to give it a go. And when I finally did, it was just nonstop. Once again, I think I literally got to all but one episode in a day, and then I was knocked out. And the minute I woke up the next day, I put on that last episode. Absolutely enjoyed this show. So I'm just here to spread the word and just talk about something that I really, really just feel not enough people are talking about. So that's going to be it for today's episode. It's a bit of a short episode today. I'm going to just kind of keep it to that. This is a bit of a new format. I don't know how long it's going to take me to edit this, since it is just kind of a talking head video. One thing I do want to just show, just to kind of be transparent and show everyone kind of my process for this, I really do just kind of ad lib a lot of this. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the screen here. These are my notes as I am recording this, and I'm just going completely off the hip here. I don't have a script. What you're seeing on screen right now is just everything I have, and these are the only notes I was going off of. So if this review, commentary, whatever seems a little disjointed, apologies. This is my current process right now. I will try and refine this more in the future. But again, that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. And again, let me know down in the comments if you're watching You and I Are Polar Opposites, or if I've convinced you to give it a shot. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for today, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.